Good evening, Cebu. Good evening, Philippines. Welcome to Open Mic. Happy New Year. We have TOYM, one of the outstanding young men from last year. He was awarded for his efforts to improve the status of the local government, the locality of which he is mayor. The very handsome, very fit son-in-law of former Governor Gwen Garcia, and the husband of the very beautiful attorney Cristina Garcia Frasco, Mayor Duke Frasco.
Maayong hapon.
Maayong hapon.
Thanks for having me, Mike.
Happy New Year, Duke.
Happy New Year.
How are you?
Doing well, thank you. Excited for this new year. It's the year of the fire monkey, so it's my year apparently.
Your year of the monkey.
Yep.
So how did you spend your New Year's?
We spent it at my mother-in-law's house actually, like we always do every year, with fireworks and a glass of champagne, as usual. Celebrate the new year.
Well, at least this year is not as stressful as, like, say 3 years ago.
I think this year will also be
a
challenge.
But at least not during the holidays.
Oh, not during. Yeah. I get what you mean. Yeah, definitely not. But this year is gonna be full of challenges, I'm sure.
Yeah,
Because
it's
of the
election year.
Election. Yeah.
Like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
So let's talk about your award. You were awarded last year,
Mm-hmm.
like a year ago.
2015.
A year?
Well, actually, it was for the year 2014.
But the awarding
It was awarded in
January.
February 2015.
Yeah, so it's almost a year ago.
Yeah.
And you were awarded, and that's one of the most prestigious awards anyone can get if you're under 40 in the Philippines. Outstanding young men. And then you were awarded for public administration, meaning to say the committee, the judges found something special in how you've administered, how you've managed Liloan.
I think so. In the past 9 years that I've been serving the municipality.
So 3 terms.
3 terms, yeah. We've improved in terms of class from a 3rd class when I first came in 2007 to now a 1st class municipality. In terms of income, we raised it by 400%
Wow.
since I came in.
400%.
Yeah, since 2007. We've implemented a lot of programs such as our scholarship program, our medical assistance and burial assistance program, our Purok system, which is
what? What does it mean?
the Purok system, it allows private citizens to have a stake in the improvement of their community and the municipality.
All right.
So instead of just having the municipal and barangay officials perform and serve the community, it gives an opportunity to ordinary citizens to contribute. So it gives them ownership.
It empowers,
empowers
citizens. You know, Liloan is it's very special to me because my grandfather used to have a beach house there. And in the 80s, when I was a child, we were based in Manila, but when we'd come to Cebu, we'd spend like weekends there. And I almost died in Liloan. The Lilo.
From the Lilo?
Yeah, because one time I was taking a swim.
In Suba, the Suba Bridge.
I don't know, wherever, but where the beach house was. You know, that neighborhood was very nice. Our neighbors were the Aboitises, the Morazas, the Lulieres. Some of the Escaños were there. So that was a very nice. I remember they would say it was like the Hamptons of Cebu of the yesteryears.
Yeah. I think maybe in the future we can still dream that.
No, but from that time, it has changed. It's become a bustling municipality. Before it was so sleepy and very laid back. And good thing my grandfather saw me and he saved me. So I'm here.
Yeah, well, just 8 years ago, we only had 90,000 people. We have the highest population growth rate of all the municipalities in the whole entire province of Cebu. which is 5%. So we've
But
increased. I think our one of the reasons for that
is the development.
the development.
It's not so much birth rate, but because of people
Yeah.
moving into Liloan.
into Liloan.
Yeah.
Our number one industry is housing. Housing is our number one industry, so a lot of people are moving.
There are a
in,
lot of
developing.
subdivisions, right?
Yeah. So, and it's still part of Metro Cebu.
Yes.
You know, so the municipal-
I think that's the charm of Liloan, because you can have like the best of both worlds. You know, live the quiet provincial life, but still be part of Metro Cebu.
Being still
Not so far from the city, from the airport, from the seaport,
Yeah.
and all these commercial centers.
I think probably in the next 5 years, our dream or my dream has always been to make Liloan a city, and I think
Of
in the
course.
next 5 years we'll get there.
But with those figures, I'm very confident. No?
Definitely.
Yeah. The TOIM is just an icing on the cake. All those figures. I mean, I'm very proud for you
Thank you.
and of you that you got that award based on data, on merit, no? And I'm pretty sure the same set of figures will be used by Liloan en route to being a city.
Yep, definitely. I think once we become a city, we'll be able to provide more services to the people of Liloan. In terms of income, definitely our era will increase. Our income definitely will increase some more.
Yeah.
And we'll be able to open more departments and offer more services to the people of Liloan.
And then you have a mall there now. You
Yep.
you just opened the Gaisana Grand.
The first mall of the municipality of Liloan, the first of many. And I think this month we'll also be opening the first commercial bank
Ooh.
of Liloan, Metro Bank and PNB.
Wow.
Will be opening in Liloan.
That's a good sign when the banks start opening in your municipality.
Yes, definitely.
Not the rural banks, no, but
No,
commercial
no.
banks.
Yeah, commercial
Two.
banks now. Two.
Wow, that's a very good sign of progress. Now you mentioned one of the things that you mentioned, one of the successes that may have contributed to your TOIM award is your scholarship program,
Yeah.
and it's very successful. I've met some of your scholars before.
Yeah.
And it was a huge group of, and they seemed to be very promising and well, very grateful for what their LGU has done for them, because it's not every day that that the government actually
Provides us
and spends for education.
much,
no?
yeah.
And that's a very beauty queen answer. Usually it's a beauty queen answer, like we're a country of beauty queens. Congratulations to Pia, but you know how it is when beauty contestants are asked, if you become president or become mayor of Cebu, what will you do? What is the first problem that you'll address? It's always education, and it's almost become it's a motherhood statement already that the government should focus on education, but very seldom does it really happen. Does it really happen?
I was lucky and fortunate enough, I think, to be able to get a good education now. And
You studied overseas, right?
yeah. And I realized the value of education when my father, who was a mayor of the municipality of Liloan, would sacrifice pretty much his time with his kids and his family to serve the municipality, but at the same time he understood the value of education that he sent us to the United States. Quality education to our children, because they're the future, you know?
Yeah, it's
So-
you equip them.
Yeah, and when I was looking into that back in 2007, we realized that only 1 out of 10 high school graduates would go to college. So perhaps it wasn't just because they didn't want to
In Liloan.
in the entire Philippines.
Okay, one.
1 in 10.
Oh my
so only
gosh.
10% of high school graduates would proceed to college.
Alright.
So I thought to myself that it can't just be that they don't want to go. They probably
Don't
most
have
of
the
them
means.
Can't afford to
Yeah.
go. Yeah. So that's when we started our scholarship program. We started with 48 scholars at the time.
In 2000.
In 2008
Eight.
and 9 school year. and then with a budget of only 400,000.
All right.
And then this year, we have 2,404 scholars.
Wow.
And with a budget of 13 million. So we've really increased the number of scholarships and our budget for the year.
How do you choose your scholars? Are they underprivileged but deserving?
For the most part, we look at the grades.
Okay.
So we have to emphasize that the grades has to be at par with, excuse me, at par with what our
You have standards,
are.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then you send them to college.
And then we look at their background also. So if they come from a family that's you consider na to kabuos or
underprivileged, yeah.
Underprivileged, then we also factor that in. But for the most part, I would say around 70% of them getting a scholarship from the municipality of Liloan is their grades, and 30% of that would be their background. Yeah.
And then then you send them to private schools.
Actually, it's whatever school that they apply.
Oh, really?
So,
And whatever course?
in whatever. Well, we like to try to encourage them to take like professional courses like accounting, medicine, pre-law, those kind of courses.
But they can choose whatever.
They can choose whatever they want. Education is a popular one.
How many graduates have you had so far since starting it in 2007?
I would say probably more than 4,000 now.
Wow.
Yeah, 4,000 graduates.
That's a lot.
Because when we started in 2008, it was 48, and every year graduates
You increase.
Yeah, and then overall, I think we've given more than 6,000 scholarships to students of Liloan.
4,000 graduates, and then if you include the ones
Not including this year.
Not including this year.
That year.
But the ones
That's first year, second year, third year, fourth year.
But you're
In the 2,404.
okay. But recently, just before the holidays, in what appears to be a strikingly or an eerily familiar turn of events, it seems like you're in hot soup for this
distributing scholarships.
for distributing for sending kids to school.
Yeah. It's it was shocking actually that would be an issue.
Yeah.
Distributing scholarships to underprivileged and qualified students of the law.
Yeah. What is the main issue?
From my understanding, the main issue is that when I distributed the scholarship funds, the vice mayor, who
used to be with
said that I didn't get authority yet from the Sangguniang Bayan when I distributed it.
So the issue is procedural.
Yes. So he's saying that I got authority on November 4, but what I'm saying is I got authority October 21. That's why I distributed the scholarships on October 23. So
Okay.
I guess it's not a matter of whether I got authority or not, because I did get authority. It's not a matter of did the scholarships get their scholarship grants, because they did. Timeliness, definitely. We wanted to do it because as soon as possible, because it was the end of the semester and these students were about to take their final exams, and they were also going to be enrolling into the next semester.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and this is something that we've done every year. You know, we're always makapaskid ni perme. You know, we're always trying to release the scholarships as soon as possible, because as early as July.
Because the schools don't wait.
Yeah, exactly. And then as early as July, the parents and the students are already asking, when can we get our scholarship grants, because we need to pay for our tuition and for school and everything. So, nahibuong lang yun ko nga karon lang yun na he would file a complaint against me for precisely that, distributing scholarships. And his kwan pagid.
But he approved it, right?
But he approved it na. He was part of
The Sangguniang.
the Sangguniang, who approved.
So he signed it.
Well, he actually vetoed
Okay.
the ordinance or resolution because right
Allotting
after
funds.
yeah, right after we distributed the scholarships, I had a marathon in New York.
Yes.
So I left for the marathon, and then I had school also. I took a course in Boston. So
In Harvard.
in
yeah.
Harvard, yeah. So I had to leave, and while I was in the States, the ordinance, which was already passed in the Sanggunian, because he was acting mayor, he vetoed it, saying that, wala ka na kumusunod sa proseso, right? So it's interesting that he would veto it, and while he was sitting in the first reading and the second reading,
He did not
of
oppose.
during the deliberation and during the whole referring the ordinance to the committee, he had nothing to say. But when I left, when he became acting mayor, that's when he vetoed it.
Sounds like it's abuse of discretion. But anyway, let's talk more about this topic because it threatens your position, no?
Yeah.
Because there is a threat of suspension.
Well, that's what he wants. He's saying that because I didn't follow procedure, I should be suspended while they're investigating the complaint. I should be suspended.
Yeah, but the
timing, no?
the timing is suspect. But we'll talk more about your the effort to suspend you when Open Mic returns from this short break. We're back here in Open Mic with Liloan, Municipality of Liloan Mayor Duke Frasco. So Duke, we were talking about your scholarship program, which has become controversial, no? Perhaps in light of the elections. So your vice
Timely,
mayor filed a complaint, and it was lodged with the provincial board. Is
Yes.
that the process?
Yeah, he filed it with the provincial board, and then he's seeking for my preventive suspension until the end of the investigation or during the investigation of the complaint.
Yeah, but am I right? There's supposed to be like a ban of. I mean, you can't really suspend people during campaign period or something.
I think so. I think after January 10, you can no longer suspend.
That's right.
Yeah,
Um,
preventive suspension.
yeah, and then you've answered the complaint.
Um,
Where are we now?
My lawyers are actually handling it.
But the
And-
timeline, for example.
We've asked for an extension
Okay.
with respect to our reply for the complaint because there are some marag glaring kayo nga mga mistakes
Alright.
and issues with respect to the complaint of the vice mayor. And so we'd like the committee and the provincial board to look into these glaring issues first before we file our reply.
But I saw on Facebook you recently received an award.
Yeah.
Another award.
Yes.
What is it for?
For being an exemplary LGU of the province of Cebu.
And it was
We-
awarded by
By the province of Cebu and Ramon Abuetes Foundation.
Rafi.
Yeah. So we, of all the LGUs in the province of Cebu,
Yeah.
the municipality of Liloan, we were second only to the municipality of San Francisco in Camotes.
But they are multi-awarded, right?
They are, yeah. Yeah.
So that's great. You're
This
on
is
the right
under
track.
our Cebu program. Yeah. So yeah, it was interesting. We actually received 4 awards that day. So we received the exemplary LGU award. We received the Green Champion Award, LGU, of the entire province. We were top 5. Our barangay poblacion was top 5 of all the barangays in the province of Cebu. And our Simeon Ayuda Public Elementary School was top 15 public schools of the entire province of Cebu. So
Congratulations.
thank you.
So you ended 2015 both good and bad. Because you know, you reaped those awards
Yeah.
for your municipality, for yourself also,
Yeah.
your leadership. But at the same time, there's this threat.
Yeah. But I guess I want to say also that with respect to these awards, no, I'm just really privileged and privileged to have really hardworking people under me.
Yeah.
So
It's always a team.
It's always a team, yeah. So I always say that a leader is only as good as his people, and thankfully I have good people.
That's very big of you to acknowledge them, because not all leaders do that. No? I mean, some leaders in fact take all the credit, not just from the people who work with them or for them, but even from the people who came before them. You know, speaking of awards and scholarships, I said it in the first gap. It's eerily familiar because your mother-in-law,
Yeah.
when she was governor 3 years ago, also on her last term,
Yeah.
also months before an election, she received an award for good housekeeping from the DILG. Former Secretary Jessie Robredo, the beloved late Jessie Robredo.
Yeah.
And just a few months later, under a different cabinet DILG secretary, she was suspended preventively for 6 months for usurping supposedly the authority of someone who had already passed on.
Yeah.
But there's confusion there, no? Because I think I wrote about it on Facebook, and somebody said, of course she deserved to be suspended for the CICC. Excuse me, people, the CICC is a different issue.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
I think
definitely.
let me take this chance to just openly opine before you comment. People, read, no? read before you click. It was usurpation for a fund that was originally meant for that's originally
Legislative.
lodged in the office of the governor,
Yeah.
and it was signed by the provincial board. But that was 3 years ago. I hope this time, whoever makes the decisions will set aside politics. I mean, because it's pretty obvious that
Yeah.
the timing is very suspect.
Yeah.
And it's not just you.
Yeah.
Mayor Rama was also suspended, and others from other LGUs outside of Cebu
Yeah.
have faced similar, especially in vote-rich areas, have faced similar challenges.
Yeah.
And well, it's not good to just dismiss everything as political, but
Yeah.
it's curious.
Curious good,
It's very
especially
curious.
with the elections just 5 months away. So, pero you know, I think
But
what
you
we
trust in the process.
I trust in the process, and I think what we've done in Liloan will really speak for itself come election day. And I've actually talked to the scholars, all 2,400 of them, with their parents, and they're very, very concerned because
Yeah.
a lot of them rely on this scholarship grant, you know, that they receive from the municipality of Liloan, and they feel that perhaps their education could be in jeopardy
Of course,
if
most certainly.
you know things don't go well in the provincial board.
So politics really has a way of affecting the futures of people, no? For
Yeah.
better or for worse.
Exactly, yeah.
But the funds have been released.
The funds have been released
For the second
For the
semester?
second, no. Well, the second semester wala pa. That was for the first semester in October. For the second semester, that's what they're asking. Good, you know, what's going on, what's gonna happen, and I have to discuss with our team and our lawyers, the Sangguniang Bayan members, exactly what we're gonna do. But you know, it's gone lang good. It's difficult because now there's this complaint, so we have to move
That's right.
delicately.
Well, I wish you all the best for that. I
Thank
mean,
you.
especially, well, more so for the scholars.
Yes, yes.
For the sake of the scholars, not so much for you because you're pretty accomplished already.
Thank you, Mike.
And education has brought you places.
Yeah.
And hopefully the scholars will have the same chance
Yeah.
if they finish their studies, when they finish their
Well,
studies.
Again, you know, I really believe in the power of education.
Of course.
And I think that's education is the only way for people in poverty, for people that yeah are
What did you
kabosh.
take up in college?
Accounting and business administration.
In
2 degrees.
Where did you study?
Loyola Marymount University
Very good
in
school.
LA.
It's a Jesuit school.
Jesuit school, yeah.
And then you, when you were in the U.S. a few months ago, you took a short course in Harvard.
Yeah, I took a leadership course in
Is it the
JFK.
leadership in the 21st century? No.
No, it
What was
was,
the
I think it was executive leadership.
All right.
Yeah, and it was really interesting, good. And then,
What did you learn from Harvard?
um,
Thanks for the book, Christina.
that challenges that we face, that I face in Liloan, is the same challenges that people in my position face all over the world.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so
It's an interesting insight.
whatever they're going through, and with respect to government and governance and public administration, the usual problems, and we actually face it here in Cebu. Solid waste management is an issue always. Drainage is an issue, and the number one big thing is traffic.
It's also
So that's a big issue. So whether you're first-class municipality like myself, like Liloan, or a highly urbanized city, you pretty much face the same issues and problems. And it's just how you try to. It's a big problem, but how do you divide it into smaller problems so you fix the small problems, and then eventually you'll be fixing the big problem.
But I guess you learned that you have a lot of similarities with other countries, but that there are local sensibilities, nuances, and that's where there is a difference.
Yeah,
the culture.
Yeah, definitely.
But education is a continuing thing, and well, I'm sure you get to learn a lot from your mother-in-law.
Yes, she's my mentor actually.
She's very proud of you. It shows.
When I first became mayor, I didn't really know anybody in government, and I didn't know any other mayor because I ran all by myself. I didn't have a party or anything. And then I was welcomed by the governor then, which was Governor Gwen, into her party. And then if I had issues, if I had problems, questions that I need to ask, she was always open,
Yeah.
So yeah, she actually helped me out a lot.
But that's something that a lot of people don't know, because people see her as maldita, very strict, very stern, but she's actually very accommodating.
Yeah.
And she likes to help people out. And,
Yeah.
And
One thing that I've seen, I mean now we can experience. I'm experiencing a different governor now, no?
yes.
But before, not kayo with respect to projects, with respect to programs, marag naagid. When I go to her office,
There was dynamism.
dili yung ko koan ba. I don't come out empty-handed. You know what I mean? So
In terms of, in more ways than one, no? Knowledge, advice.
yes, and I think her
Ideas.
her management style also is really good because it really brings out the best of people.
Maybe because she was a businesswoman also.
Yeah.
I mean, aside from coming from a family of public servants, she also was a businesswoman.
Yeah, and I see her as really a leader. No, a leader is supposed to be someone that brings out the best in their department heads, in their employees, and she definitely, I think, brought out the best in me as a mayor of Liloan, guiding me and making sure that things that I was doing was really for the municipality of Liloan, that I saw successes and accomplishments as well.
So, you come from a family that owns, a very old family business.
Yes.
Titay's. It's over 100 years.
Yes.
And it's a
Since
proud
1907.
it's a proud legacy, and I know how it feels to to be born into a family with a family business legacy.
Yeah,
And well, in my case, I deviated. I mean, I tried to make a name for myself, chart my own path. Is it the same with you, or were you at some point actively involved with Titays?
Yeah, I think most of us still, in our generation, my cousin, my sister, were still actually very active in Titays. In fact, we have weekly meetings, executive meetings in Titays.
But before you became mayor, were you more active with Titays?
In the day-to-day operations, yes. But now it's more on board role. So in terms of direction of Titays, where Titays is gonna go 5-10 years from now, I think that's where I play a bigger role. But in the day-to-day operations,
you're focused on governance.
Yeah.
There was a time when Liloan was like synonymous to Titays, vice versa. I mean, until now, I guess, no. But it's to your credit, I guess, that more things are associated with Liloan, and not just your family business.
Yeah.
Well, I remember before you drive up north, you have to pass by Titays. Either driving up north or driving down, driving back to the city from up north.
Yeah.
You always have to pass by Titays.
Yeah. I hear that a lot, and it always brings me joy, from when I hear it from people, especially if it's the older generation. They always say like, "Oh, I remember when I was a kid and I used to go to Titays and this and that." And
you make me sound like I'm with the older generation.
No, not you.
Because I just said it. It's okay.
Not you in particular, Mike. No.
It's okay.
But but I hear it a lot, and I guess because I'm.
That's how many
closely-
generations?
We're the fourth generation now.
We're the same. We're also in the fourth. But let's talk about family legacies and your own family legacy, because you have a very beautiful family. But we have to talk about it after we return here on Open Mic. Back here on Open Mic, this is our last gap with a very handsome mayor of Liloan, Duke Frasco. So Duke, we were talking about family legacy. You're married to a very beautiful, very accomplished lady lawyer who is a Jill of all trades and master of all. How is it being married to Christina Garcia Frasco?
Happy, I guess. That's
quite a catch, no?
Yeah. One word to sum it all up: happiness for me. Like I can't imagine life without my family, without my wife, without my kids,
your son.
my son and my daughter. I'm just happy, and I think we talked earlier about all these things that's happening to me with respect to the complaint, someone trying to suspend me, this and that. But in the end of the day, when I get home, when I get to go home to my family, see my wife and my kids, mawala na tanan.
Through thick and thin. Diba? That's the vow you made. But Christina is a very, very special lady. I mean, she's an old soul, very young looking, very fresh, but always an old soul. She always finds time to send all these little things, with the perfect penmanship. And I showed it to my friends over dinner. Joanna Cuenco, I was showing her the letter that Christina wrote with the book she sent over for Christmas, which she bought at the Harvard bookstore when you guys were in the East Coast. But there was a mistake. Christmas 2016. And I was like, can I post this as a meme and take encircle the Christmas 2016 and say, oh, she's human after all. Because perfect penmanship, perfect grammar, perfect writing, everything. And then there's Christmas 2016. Finally, there's a mistake.
I think she's focused in 2016, Mike.
Oh, that's your birthday in 2016. it would be a very Merry Christmas next year. Focus the cameras on Christina. And if if she had more time, she'd be competing at the Miss Universe. But there's no, because there are some guys. I mean, I have some friends, female friends, Filipino female friends. Those who are a bit successful in their professions. They find it difficult to find a guy who would support, who would appreciate their success.
Yeah.
And so I thought that maybe you can just look for a foreigner whose culture is different, who understands the culture of achievement, and excellence. Because there seems to be, I hope I'm wrong, but there seems to be a fear, among Filipinos, fear of excellence. So there's a lot of insecure guys. I don't know. Maybe it's the income. Maybe it's, I don't know, status in life.
For me,
you never.
No, I'm really proud.
Because of course you're mayor, but there's no competition.
I think there's a little competition,
There is.
we always, I always want to win. Christina also always wants to succeed and win. So, but I don't think that's a bad thing for a couple to always want to achieve and to be successful in whatever they do. But
you're always both, the best dressed. Do you coordinate? Do you before you leave the house, do you consult Christina, or do you have a conference about what to wear? Because you're always so.
No, it's
well
odd
dressed.
actually that she'll pick out something that she'll wear, and then I'll pick out something that I'll wear, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, it's actually the same color or the same, So we're like, wow, we're thinking alike. Yeah.
Meant to
So-
be. You're really meant to be. And you have a son, but your daughter, Sophia,
Sophia,
she is a star.
Yep.
she
takes after her mother.
Yeah. I think she's a politician in the making, or
Or a
celebrity.
lawyer.
Or a lawyer, but she knows how to perform.
Yeah, definitely.
And she has the spotlight naturally transfixed on her.
Yeah, well, Koan, I think she's a darling. She's the apple of my eye,
Very charismatic, very charming.
Yeah, and in terms of, I guess, being in the public in the future,
Daddy's girl, is she?
she's daddy's girl, definitely. But yeah, I think she's a star, So
You'd be
very proud of her
okay
as
for
well.
your kids to join politics?
We'll see. I think I'll know when they're old enough, and if I want them to join in
Just
politics.
support them
But
in whatever they want.
yeah, for now, I want her to be successful in whatever she wants to be.
How many kids do you guys want to have?
I don't know. Magagad ako sa sahod.
So she dictates. So,
Two things, magagad ta sa asawa o sa Ginoo, no?
But you're okay with one boy and one girl because you have
Yeah.
both already.
Pero mo hatag ang Ginoo, another one, then we would be blessed, to have another one. Because we definitely consider it as a blessing to have kids.
But growing up in a family where your parents are achievers, where your grandparents, great grandparents, are in the limelight and are very well accomplished.
Yeah.
It must be a lot of pressure for someone very young. I mean, do you think of these things as a father, Christina as a mother? How do you maybe lessen the pressure? Or is there an effort to lessen the pressure?
I don't think so. I don't think there should be an effort to lessen the pressure on your kids because it's important, I think, for their success in the future that the parents should achieve as much as they can. So that way we've set a
standard.
a standard or a bar for our kids, you know. And but when our kids are growing up and they're going to school and then they're going in their own adventures, it's important for us parents to support them as well, so they can be successful and achieve a lot of things.
Yeah, and I guess it's the right attitude. You know, a child growing up with the right attitude, with the right sensibilities, will not be pressured, but will be inspired
Exactly.
by
Yeah.
good examples.
Like for me personally, it's always been that I wanted to always try to achieve
Yeah.
and always want to be successful in whatever I do, and I want to instill that in my kids as well.
You've what do you call this? You've participated in the Ironman.
Yeah.
How many years?
Just last year, actually. That was
last
my
year.
first,
Okay.
my third Ironman, my third triathlon,
All right.
my first Ironman ever.
And your second New York Marathon.
Yes, that was my second New York Marathon last November.
Mm-hmm.
My third marathon altogether.
Wow. And then
Yeah.
in Liloan, you just had a.
We had our first triathlon since Xterra. It was quite successful, actually. And
So it was organized by the local government.
organized by the local government and mainly participated by triathletes from Cebu. Not so much from Manila, but we had a few from Bohol, I think, but mainly from Cebu. And it was just a nice, race to end the year, pretty much.
So you're really naturally athletic ever since.
Well,
You never had a geeky face.
I was rotund, I think, when I was a little boy.
Rotund. What a way to put it.
if you would see the pictures, my wife, actually, Christina, giggles every time she sees.
Is that your motivation?
Well, my motivation is wanting to be healthy because in my family,
your dad, no?
yeah, my dad and my grandmother, it's in our blood, and
Heart
it's
disease.
heart disease, yeah. So I just want to be healthy and want to live a long life so I can see my kids grow up and be happy as well. But I've always been a runner since high school. It's only just in the past year that I joined triathlons. And in fact, it's only just been last year that I learned how to properly swim. I knew how to swim before,
Properly swim.
but to properly swim, swimming 25 meters without gasping for air, pretty much. And then I was able to do that, and that's just one of the things. Like I was telling myself, okay, I've never done this. I just want to conquer it, So I challenged myself, and I was like, okay, you're gonna do it. You're gonna conquer it, no matter how nervous I was in my first triathlon, no matter how scared I was when I got really deep, when I'm looking down, in the ocean, I'm like, oh my God, I hope I don't drown.
Oh, you're not afraid of sharks.
No, but other things scare you, when you're looking down and it's just complete darkness and you don't see anything.
I get what you mean.
Yeah.
So you've conquered a lot of things. You've conquered local politics. You've conquered family life. You've received good education. What's next for you?
I think just trying to continue conquering.
What's next? What's your next frontier? What's the next challenge to conquer?
Well, next year I'll be running because I'm done now with my 3 terms.
Mm-hmm.
So next year I'll be running for Vice Mayor of the municipality of Liloan to support my wife, who is running for mayor. I think because the Vice Mayor position doesn't require a lot of time in the municipality.
You're heading the legislature.
Yeah.
And
So
I'm pretty sure as mayor, there's a lot of insight. There's a lot of experience in terms of.
as mayor,
Yeah.
you're in the executive chair, So you're handling the day-to-day operations, pretty much, of the municipality. But when you're in the legislator side of things, you have a session once a week, So I'm thinking that I'll probably have a little bit more free time, and I'd like to focus more on business perhaps, and our family business and our other businesses as well.
Yeah, and then you can push for ordinances that you know, based on your experience as mayor.
Yes.
What was lacking, what is needed.
Yeah,
It's easy
I have some ideas already. Actually, I'm thinking that you know, there's a lot of things that I wanted to do in terms of passing ordinances and laws on the legislative side, but I wasn't able to do because I'm in the executive side. So now I'll have that
Fingers crossed,
opportunity.
yeah.
Tuloy atas
Alright.
Ginoo sa mga tao, no?
Of course. I mean, you
Agad
have,
naman kita
you
sa
have your
tao.
credentials, you have a track record, so hopefully the people will, you know, choose wisely come election day.
Yeah.
Fortunately, our time is up.
Thank you for having me, Mike. It was
Thank
a real
you
pleasure.
for being on the show, Noop.
Thank you.
Good luck on your prospects for 2016, and I hope to have Christina where you're seated. Thanks,
Get her on
Noop.
the hot seat.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Mike.
This has been another episode of Open Mic. This has been Mike Lopez. Thank you and good night and Godspeed.